My name is Rick Cowley. I'm the founder of the VysionQuest process, and a little bit about me. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to start this, but I have two kids, amazing kids, and I was raised in San Diego, California. Haven't lived there for a long time. Lived in Australia for about 8 years. I've lived in Bali now for most of the last 7 years. I love this work. There's nothing I would rather be doing than guiding a group of people on this adventure and taking them to the depths of who they really are and helping them discover that, probably for the first time in their lives. And on the way, having a ton of fun and a ton of laughs and putting you guys in some situations where you need your courage, whether it's surfing or cliff jumping, and watching people rise up. It's this combination of going deep into themselves, reconnecting with their heart and their soul, and then rising up in this physical body and the physical reality. It's this beautiful combination of taking people to the depths of their heart and their soul and rediscovering who they really are, and then giving them the chance to express it in their body, with nature, in these real life situations of rising up and expressing who they really are, and doing things like jumping off cliffs and catching waves, being out in this ocean, and it's such a beautiful experience. There were two key moments that both had like, they were like crossroads for me and completely changed the direction of my life in good ways, not always easy ways, but in good ways. And the first one was when I was 21 years old. I'd been living in Java for a year and going to university, and at the end of that year I got really sick, and it turns out that I had leukemia. So, you know, as you can imagine, that was a scary time, uncomfortable, painful, but I got better, and I'm still here, and it forced me to start to, well, one, is see the temporariness of life and how precious it is, and then I also had a mentor at that time who started to help me be able to connect with my inner voice and ask myself questions about what's really important to me, be able to ask that inner voice for guidance and clarity. And it was just a combination of being able to tune in and start to connect with my purpose and who I really am, with the temporariness of life, of not knowing if I'm going to be around in 2 months or 6 months or a year. That kind of like, holy shit, this now is the moment, and the people that I'm with right here, these are the people, now is the time. That was really powerful, and woke something up in me that it's never gone back to sleep. Like, it's kind of hard sometimes for, I don't know if it's for me to relate to people or to just live a normal life like most people live, that's really structured and planned and predictable, and it's never been how I've operated. And the other big turning point in my life was when I finally got up the courage to run my first retreat. So after I'd had leukemia, there was this seed of a vision that had been planted in me that was to run a spiritual surf trip. That's the best way I knew how to describe it. Sounded kind of cheesy to me, but that's what I knew I wanted, like this element of doing deep personal inner work with people, combined with surfing and a beautiful tropical island and play and lightness, and helping people become kids again as well. And so it was actually 13 years from when I had leukemia. I lived not a normal life, but I lived a more normal life, where I got married and had 2 kids, and lived in Australia, and had different jobs. But I knew that I had something more inside of me, I knew I had more to offer. I knew that I could be way happier. I knew I could be more fulfilled. I just had this sense that work was supposed to be something that was, really contributing and making a difference for people, and that we enjoyed. So, and just in having jobs, to have a job to make money is like torture for me. It's always been torture, and I would like put up with it for a little while, and then just I couldn't stand it anymore. I'd quit and not be very financially responsible with that. But there was just something in my heart that was like, Rick, you are designed for more than this. So I finally one day got so mad at myself for not having at least tried, to put together a trip or a retreat. And I couldn't stand myself anymore. So I created something and, sat down with a pen and paper and kind of made an outline of it and where it could be and dates and stuff, and put it out there. And it kind of went through a little bit of a morph period with the feedback of one of my friends who said, you should do this retreat for young adult cancer survivors. And at first I was like, no, I'm not sure. And as I thought about it, I thought, that would be perfect, because that's a group that I knew that I could help, because I'd been there, I knew what it was like, and I'd come out the other side better for it. So I put out this retreat and ran it, and there were 5 people that flew in from around Australia, and it was magic. And it was like life was supporting us, and just synchronicities and beautiful experiences with nature and with other people and within the group was just this reinforcement of like, yes, Rick, yes, you're on the right path, keep going. It was like riding a wave, where it's like carrying you forward. And it was scary because every time we sat down was a new experience, something that I'd never done before. And it worked. And since that time, I got so much confirmation from life that this was what I was here to do, and it actually was something that helped people. It wasn't just selling them something or even just teaching them to surf, which is a beautiful thing. And I ran surf camps. My wife and I had a surf camp in Mexico. That was a beautiful experience for people, camping out in nature, and people would come with their families, and it was a beautiful bonding time with their families, with nature. And still inside of me was like, Rick, you have more to offer than this. Like, there's deeper work that you're here to facilitate or help people with. So even that felt kind of torturous, even such a beautiful experience, because I knew I wasn't rising up and doing the thing, that main thing that I was here to do. So this first retreat gave me the experience of, for the first time in my life, fulfilling my purpose, that the single main thing that I was here to do. And that became my new standard for my life. And I did a few of those retreats and then moved to Bali about a year or two later and turned it into my business, my livelihood. And like I said, I've done 44 retreats so far. So experiencing that first retreat was a huge turning point for me. I would go back and tell myself, Rick, you have something special to offer. Right now you just have a sense of it. Actually, you have more than a sense of it, because after leukemia, it was like awake and fearless time. And there was still, I was still young, I was 21. So, I think that young time, like pretty much all through your 20s, is the time to go out and explore and try different things and be open and go on adventures and make crazy decisions. And I did that. But there was a time when I had to do something to earn money. And I was teaching surf lessons in Malibu, which was great and fun, and, fueled this, like, I was traveling the world for 8 months of the year and surfing, but there came a time when it was like I'd outgrown that, and I knew there wasn't like the normal. It wasn't a thrill anymore. Like I'd kind of become a great teacher and had lived through all these different scenarios of teaching students and bonding with them and having a great time, and I knew that there was something more that I wanted to do and give. But there's that bridge of like believing in yourself. And I would tell myself to just start it. Start this spiritual surf trip. Who cares if it sounds cheesy or when anyone thinks of it? Just try it. You don't have to call it that. You don't have to tell people, you know, that's the idea that's behind it. But just start it. Just start to work with people and help them on a deeper level. And that ties into one of my biggest regrets, though I don't believe in regrets, because everything, you know, bad that's happened in my life has turned out to be an open door and led me somewhere good. But if I did have a regret, it would be that I didn't start working with people like this. I didn't start that first retreat like 5 years earlier or even more. And I just think how many more people I would have worked with, and you know, how many more people they would have touched. So basically, I would have said, Rick, tune in, take the time to feel what's going to be truly fulfilling for you. Not just exciting, not just pay the bills, but what's going to be truly fulfilling for you. Come up with that dream and that vision, and just fucking do it. Just start it. There's a reason that you have that vision inside of you. So start it. The sooner the better. If you feel like there's more to you and there's more to your life, but you don't know what it is. That's where so many people are. Is just this feeling of like discontent and like disconnection. It just comes out in frustration, and we're blaming other people, and we take it out on our kids and our partners and employees and, you know, the people around us. It's actually a blessing that you're feeling that frustration and for most people it's got to get to a point where it's like intolerable. Unfortunately, that's the truth. You know, most people tolerate and numb themselves with like alcohol and distract themselves with caffeine and drugs and you know, Netflix and shopping and whatever. You know, there's like positive things that we do, like watching TED Talks and reading books and going to seminars and stuff that's supporting our growth. And we're going, there's got to be a better way, you know? There's got to be something better I can be doing with myself, and there's got to be a better way for me to be feeling every day. And then there's the things that we do that are just like, I just want to shut down, you know, like I'm so uncomfortable. So, you know, you have that beer or the wine at night and you watch Netflix, and, you know, you just try to numb and forget. And in the morning, you know, you're groggy and you got to go to work, so you have your coffee, and that just, you know, gives you that boost. So you're like, okay, everything's okay. I can tolerate another day. And all this stuff is just making you, it's like Band-Aids, you know, it's just tolerating living a life that you're not meant to live. And this is so many people's experience. And I think even now people are like realizing that so much more is possible. I mean, just the internet, the fact that you can make money on the internet is like, well, maybe I don't have to live where I'm going to live. That's a whole different thing, because I don't think really anyone's purpose is to make money on the internet. Our purpose is more around how we uplift and empower other people. So even that dream is kind of like one that's another question we can talk about. But if you're feeling that way, that you know you got more to offer, you've been doing some things to try to distract yourself, some things to try to improve yourself and improve your life, I would say you're doing amazing. That's good work. You have to keep searching. I was, you know, always interested in spiritual ideas and personal growth, and, you know, I was searching and doing seminars and programs and reading books, and had teachers, you know, spiritual teachers and, you know, psychologist teachers and tarot teachers, and just was open to finding my way. So you have to have that. You have to have that desire and that drive to like keep looking and keep searching. I also feel like you have to be feeling what's right for you, and realize how important it is for things to feel right. And this comes from, you know, school and our parents and our society, where it's really not your fault that you don't know who you are and what you're really here to do. It's just decades of training by school, where success was showing up to a classroom whether you wanted to be there or not, being quiet, can't talk with your friends, can't play except in little blocks during the day. And that's how, and in taking tests and doing the work, however the teacher wanted you to do it. So it didn't encourage you, it discouraged you from being yourself, from expressing yourself, from feeling your inspiration, from doing things your way. And you know, kids are born connected to themselves. If you've had kids, or you've been around little kids like 2, 3, 4 years old, they're just this non-stop flow of energy, love, light, play, confidence, craziness, love, affection. And then, you know, we're like, we need to raise our kids so that they know how to, you know, live life and be happy people. And it's just bullshit. Like, who's happier? Who sleeps better? Who's more honest? Who's more loving? It's the kids. And this natural connection, natural sense of life just gets drilled out of us, trained out of us by, you know, our parents who are doing the best that they can, and school that's just like training us about how to be adults. So by the time that we're adults, we're so disconnected from ourselves, who you really are and what you're really here to do, that even things that help you get clear on that are like a threat to that old way of being. And there's so much fear about security and money that most people they don't have enough clarity and enough connection about who they are and what they really want to do. So because of that lack of clarity, they don't have the courage to take these bigger steps in their lives. And if you've ever left a job because it was too painful and you're like, I don't care, I'm going to figure it out, what comes after that, then you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just have to like let go and go, I'm not sure what I want to do, but I can't stay in this situation. It's draining my soul, it's draining my life. You have to be willing to make change and to take different paths. What's different about the process that I guide people through is that we go to the heart. The whole thing is focused on the heart of who you really are and what you're really here to do. And this is a topic that, you know, say purpose is a topic that many other programs and books skirt around and say, yes, know your why, know your purpose, but they don't tell you how to do it. And most other teachers either teach you how to be more calm on the path that you're walking of your life, meditate and, you know, be more open and loving, more still, take more time out. Or teachers tell you how to be more effective. So it's basically, instead of just walking on the path you're on, how do you run? And how do you hit those sales goals and be more effective and manage your time better? But neither of those paths takes you to the heart and the soul of who you really are and what you're really here to do. And that's what I saw was missing in my life. How are you going to live a happy, fulfilling life if you don't really understand yourself and understand why life put you here? So in my opinion, it's the key thing. It's the key thing. If life put you here to have a certain way of being, to do a certain kind of work, it's even better to disconnect that from work, detach it from your purpose being your work, because you have to understand yourself first, and then the clarity of how you're going to express it in the world in terms of work or how you make money or your hobby or a program you set up or something like that. Before that becomes clear, you have to let go of all of that and tune into yourself. Like I said, the old ways don't want you to tune into yourself. It's a threat to how things are, the status quo. I call it the fear. The fear just wants things to stay the same, even if you're unhappy, even if you're stressed out, even if you're not taking care of your health. The fear goes, okay, we know that we stay alive like this. It's not, it's uncomfortable because I'm not happy, but at least it's not uncomfortable that no one's, shunning me or, rejecting me, or I'm not failing at anything. We've got things working. You're not failing here. Just keep going along. Even though you're not thriving, you're not happy, you're not alive, you're not fulfilled. So the fear makes it seem really scary to get this clarity. And over the past 7 years of doing this, one of the most, I guess, unique things, and the things that I'm most, grateful for and proud of in this process is the sequence of it. Because you can't go, the reason that teachers don't take you to the heart and soul of your purpose is that they don't know how. They don't know how to guide you there. There's so much resistance around it. There's like a fortress around your purpose that the fear doesn't want you to discover your purpose, because this is your single greatest energy source for changing your life and to, getting off the path that you're on now for whatever reason. It's the expectations of your parents and your bosses and your teachers, but it's not really your life. And when you know who you are and what you're here to do, then you have two choices. It's like you see your destination and you either choose to step to it, like step off of the path. You're walking some path over there, but your destination is there. You can go, this path doesn't suit me. I see that now. I didn't know it before. I didn't know what other path I would choose, but now I know. So then you can move paths, and that's the main thing you have to do is let go of that old path, the path that you're on right now, and get onto that new path. And until you have that clarity, it just feels too scary. You go, well, why would I would give up my life I have now, whatever, where you live, your job, how you make money, your lifestyle. It keeps you alive. And it's actually even more difficult if you're making good money, because then there's a fear of what if it goes down a little bit for a while I'm making a change. So it's actually more difficult to make this change and to get this clarity if you have a really comfy lifestyle. If you have a job or a business that's paying all the bills, even if it's not making you happy. So much of our self-worth is tied to our possessions and our lifestyle and our car and our house and what people think of us and the image we put out into the world. But if it's been proven to us over and over and over that stuff doesn't make you happy and fulfilled. But before you have that deeper clarity of who you are and what you're really here to do, you need the clarity to have the courage to make change. That stuff doesn't make you happy. What's happening is you end up trading your happiness for dollars, and you don't even know why, but there's so much momentum in it. You don't know what you can do to change it. So most teachers say, know your purpose, know your why. That they say, this is your power. This is your power to change. This is your power to rise up and become the man or the woman that you want to be. But they don't tell you how. And because the fear doesn't want things to change, the fear will let you get just close enough where you get some relief, where you go, oh, my life hurts. I don't feel like myself. I'm not happy. I'm going to do something. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to watch a TED Talk. I'm going to do a seminar. I'm going to learn to meditate. I'm going to start yoga. I'm going to do these things, and it gives you relief. But it only gives you enough relief so that things don't really change. And of course, things do change. Life is wonderful. I believe that the universe is loving and intelligent and everything is moving forward. But by going just forward enough to where you get some relief and you feel a little bit better, the fear is still in control. So anything that has the power to give you the clarity of who you are and what you really want. The fear is going to try to like come up with excuses why you can't do it, why it's not working, why it's a waste of time. It will actually even put real life things in your way. There'll be a crisis at work, or you'll break your toe, or you'll run out of money, or your girlfriend will break up with you, something like that. That's like this real life thing that's going, I have to stop this work. I can't go so deep right now. Maybe next week I have to stop that and solve this problem. I've seen this over and over again. This is just the fear trying to distract you from actually tuning in and going deep enough to where you can get that life-changing clarity. So when you come into it with that awareness, then you can almost celebrate when those things happen and realize, whoa, I must be making progress here, or else this thing wouldn't be happening. This is the old way that's trying to distract me. It seems really real, but you can take it as a sign of real progress. So the sequence of this work, the VysionQuest work, is something that's completely unique. And that was just, the sequence wasn't there at the beginning, but it was retreat after retreat after retreat after group, and seeing people, what their process was, what worked, what didn't work. This sequence just kind of, it was like it shuffled itself into this order. Things rearranged. I tried things a bunch of different ways. And the order is in such a way now where it's not threatening. We trick that, like the ego or the fear, into aligning with the process. So if you can imagine that there's like this fortress around your purpose, like this gem of who you are. There's this wall built around it, and the fear is there with like a spear and a sword, and just standing guard over it with his armor on and a helmet and looking all badass and scary. And if you try to go straight into it and go, what's my purpose? And the fear just comes at you swinging, and like it's gonna kill you if you find out, or if you get too close. And what these exercises do is disarm the fear. So it starts, I guess it starts gently, where even that part of you kind of gets on board, and it becomes curious, it becomes kind of playful. And over the course of these exercises, it's like the fear puts down the spear and puts down the sword, and is then sitting next to you, and like answering the questions with you, and kind of playing the game with you. And slowly but surely, like the questions get more deep, we'll say. And eventually, when it gets time to look at your purpose later on, it's like the fear is just going, I want to know what the purpose is too. And like lets you in, like come in, let's go in together and discover what's in there. So this is what's so unique about this process, that the purpose, if there was one core to this process, it is your purpose. But there's a whole bunch of priming exercises to get to the point where you are able to look at your purpose. It's like the sun, it's like too bright to look at directly. Like all these things are like, I guess kind of like, sunglasses or something you're building up. So then you can look straight at the sun of your purpose and see it for the first time in your life. And it's like you've been feeling its light, and it's been shining out of you, and it's been there, it's been guiding your life. It's been shining in the sweetest moments of your life and the most fulfilling moments of your life. And you see how everything in your life makes sense. Everything has been preparing you to be able to fulfill your purpose. Your jobs, your education, your friends, your family, your challenges, your biggest challenges and your biggest failures in your life have been preparing you to more effectively fulfill your purpose. So then once you're ready, you can look directly at the sun of your purpose and own it. And then you can start living your purpose on purpose, rather than in random moments that seem like, wow, this was a great day, or this was a really wonderful encounter with this person, I really helped them. Instead of it being random and maybe happening, I don't know, a couple times a year or a couple times only in your life, you can start to say, I'm going to back up there, because rather than it becoming random, You can, after you know your purpose, then that's when you start to look at your dreams, your goals, which make up your vision. So until now, most people's visions have been based on, our parents' dreams and goals for us, or maybe the dreams and goals that they really had in their heart that they never acknowledged or never gave themselves the time and the space to pursue. And we get a lot of things from movies and our friends and commercials about what success means and what the vision should be, what living the dream means. And almost none of it has to do with what you are here to do and what's going to make you feel happy and what's going to give you a sense of fulfillment every day. When you wake up, you have a sense of inspiration and meaning about what you're here to do. And when you go to sleep at night, you have this sense of fulfillment of like, I did today what I was put on earth to do, and I made a difference, and it was magical. And it wasn't always easy, but I rose up in each instance and was guided and felt like a wave carrying me forward. And that's my wish. That's my wish for people. It's my wish for you. So once you know your purpose, then you can look at, how can I express my purpose? What's going to help me fulfill my purpose? What are those goals and dreams? And some of them will be closely aligned to some of your previous goals and dreams, because that sun has been shining inside of you all the time and guiding you forward, leading you forward. But there are going to be some new goals and dreams that you have either not admitted to yourself, they seemed too, I don't know if it's selfish or too far-fetched or something like that, but once you see who you are and you understand your purpose, then it becomes this thing of like, what else would I do with my life? Like, am I just gonna do a job that 1,000 other people could do? Or am I gonna do the one thing, the main thing that I'm the best at doing that's gonna really help people? And I look at your vision like a puzzle. So the process of the VysionQuest, each exercise is giving you 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of the puzzle. And you start to collect the pieces. And some of the pieces you'll have from your life already. There's things that have already come up that you understand. And the process just helps you collect them all, bring them all together, and start to see how they fit together. And then the way I look at it is like the central piece. There's one large piece in the middle, and that's your purpose. And that connects to a whole bunch of other pieces. And you just can't, even if you had all the other pieces, but that center piece was missing, it would just eat you up. It would not work. The puzzle wouldn't work. And you have to have enough pieces of the puzzle to make bold change in your life. So it's not to say you have to have every single piece of the puzzle, and who knows if we would ever have every single piece of the puzzle, because the puzzle is going to be evolving, your vision is going to evolve, even your purpose is going to evolve. You just have to have enough of the puzzle pieces to where you have enough clarity that you can make change. When I faced my death at 21 years old with leukemia, it was scary. It was beautiful though. I guess I feel like I have been able to have moments of deeper connection in my life and connecting to like what's really going on behind the scenes. Feeling like, always been drawn to spiritual ideas and learning about religions and spirituality. And so I know I was curious. There were a lot of emotional moments, like where I remember, like say when I was I was living in and out of a hospital. I would go in for like a week or 10 days and have a lot of time to myself in there, and friends visit, my parents would visit and bring me food and spend some time with me. But most of the time in the hospital I was by myself, not feeling very good, and had plenty of time to reflect and it's funny, you know, in the hospital, hospital wasn't a scary place to me. It sucked. I mean, to get like bone marrow biopsies where they drill a massive needle into deep into your hip bone to withdraw, you know, bone marrow to test it, sucks. It's painful, and the chemotherapy makes you feel like shit, and so you're not feeling very well. But there was like this. There was, you know, a bit of this sense of it being a life-changing experience for me, no matter what happened. If I died or if I lived, like from here forward, it's different. What I know my purpose is guiding people back to themselves, and helping them discover what they're really here to do, who they are and what they're really here to do, and discover their purpose. And this is, everyone has that purpose. We all have our different ways of doing it. From what I've seen, everyone has those two desires in them: to help other people relieve their suffering and to empower people and wake them up. And each person has their unique way of doing it, their unique way of being, their unique talents, their unique way of expressing themselves, their unique way of connecting with people. And this is my purpose of, for whatever reason, having, you know, discovered this process that can take you out of the momentum of decades of your life, living a life that is not really you and not really your life, and creating the space and the time for you to reconnect, and holding your hand and guiding you down this path where you're disarming the fear and going deep into your heart and soul and getting clarity that you've never had in your life. It's clarity that you have a deep sense of. So when you get the clarity, it's like coming home. It's like entering your body, and like everything aligns. Your body and your spirit and your mind and emotions all comes into like the center where you are, and it's like coming home. You feel powerful. You feel clear. You know that it's not that everything becomes easy after this, but it's like the path that you're on is worthy of your life, probably for the first time. And there's going to be challenges, and there's old habits and everything, but what you're aiming at and who you are when you're walking this path is worth it. It's worth it to be yourself and get to be yourself every day, and be and do things that are meaningful for you. A few different things normally happen for people after they've done the process and they go home. One is that they're at home in themselves, and they can feel, you know, because life does it. Life pulls you in different directions, and there are distractions, and there's your old life. There's a whole momentum, like a river of momentum of your old life. So it takes power to change the momentum of that. And when you go home, you have a sense of, when you're in your center, you have a sense of what it feels like to really be you and be connected and be operating as your being, as your purpose, instead of as just like your personality or your habits and your reactions to things. So because you've gotten such a deep experience of feeling connected, you know when you're not connected. You know when you're not in your center. So you have a reference point, probably for the first time in your life. And when those situations come up and the reactions come up, you can stop blaming the people outside of you and the situations outside of you and asking everything else to change, and come back into yourself and reconnect with who you are in your purpose and your vision. And you have written down crystal clear. There are a couple tools, a couple key exercises that you have, where you have a vision for the next 5 years of your life, what you want to be, do, and have in the next 5 years of your life. And then another one that focuses on your character, the man or the woman that you are here to be and become. So you have these things to help keep you on track. Another thing is that you've gotten so much clarity about your vision that for some things it's enough. You've put out enough. It's like vibrational clarity and alignment with what this vision is, that some things fall into your lap. And it seems magical, but this is what people experience. And I get emails, or people come on retreats, a year or two later and tell me about the things that have happened, and they're like, I don't know how this happened. I wrote it down, and like one guy recently came and he said he wanted to be on the board of directors of a foundation that's doing good things in Africa. And he got that clarity. It was kind of like the first time he ever admitted that to himself, and then went home and sent a few emails, and what he had to offer was a perfect fit for what they were looking for, and he was invited to be on their board of directors. This is like 2 weeks after the retreat. This is something that if he had never done the retreat, he may never have gotten that clarity, or maybe it would have been another year or 2 or 3, and now he's living this thing that's really meaningful for him and really fulfilling for him because he got that clarity. So some things will just fall into your lap. Some things take a little bit of action like that, where you have to kind of reach out and put it out there, and then the opportunity comes. And then other things, the bigger dreams are going to take months or years of dedicated focus and consistent focus and action, and overcoming fear and overcoming obstacles until you reach that mountain. But most people, they don't get such a clear vision to keep them on track. And they'll go, that's my mountain, I want that. Even though it's not even really in alignment with their heart and their soul, they go, I want that. Some people walk all the way there, get it, and go, I don't even think I want this. Where's the next mountain? And they're just going from, mountain to mountain of what they want. Other people, if they don't do this process or something like it, they see the mountain and they go, that's what I want, and they start walking towards it. Even if it is in alignment with what they want, they don't have enough pieces of the puzzle to stay focused on it in the challenging times. And they lose their momentum, and they give up, or they get distracted and then have to start all over again. Because you've taken the time during the process to get this much clarity, that's a huge part of causing change in your life. But also, you haven't just sat there and dreamed it up. You've put pen to paper numerous times about subjects, and the important things have come up over and over, and you've kind of crafted it and fit it together into this vision. And when you put pen to paper, that's a big recipe for magic. So you have this guide to lead you forward in your life and help you make decisions and help you stay focused on what's truly important to you.